I had just moved into a small apartment in Manchester, a 3-story old building with a hallway that always smelled damp and lights that flickered like they were too tired to stay on. My unit was on the 2nd floor. The 3rd floor, according to the landlord, was completely empty. No one's lived up there for 2 years. I believed him. Why wouldn't I? On my first night, with half-opened boxes still scattered across the living room, I heard something heavy dragging across the floor above me. I froze, listened. There it was again. A cold sting creeped up the back of my neck, but I forced myself to think rationally. Pipes, old wood, maybe the building settling. But the sound continued, not like plumbing, not like leaking water, not like footsteps, more like someone wrestling a stuck piece of furniture across the room. But wasn't the floor above supposed to be empty? I turned on all the lights. The dragging stopped instantly. Silence. I barely slept that night. The next day at work, the sounds kept replaying in my mind. On my way upstairs later, I ran into my landlord, Mr. Bellin. "Is the 3rd floor really empty?" I asked. Without hesitation, he said, Yeah, years now. Why?" "I heard some noises last night." He cut me off immediately. "This building's old. It makes sounds. Don't worry, no one's up there." He walked away quickly. Something in his tone felt wrong. When I entered my apartment, it was colder than the outside air, like a window had been open, but everything was shut. That evening, while I sat at my desk, I heard soft tapping from the ceiling. Not footsteps, more like someone drumming slow, steady fingers on the floorboards above. Minutes passed. The tapping stopped. I stayed quiet, ignored it, tried to. But at 1:15 a.m., everything changed. I shot up from sleep to the sound of someone running across the ceiling, fast, erratic, frantic. Not like a grown adult, not like a child, something else. My heart was punching inside my ribs. I stared at the ceiling, unable to breathe. The running stopped. Then something small and solid dropped onto the floor above. That was enough. I grabbed a flashlight, stepped into the hallway, and walked up the stairs. The 3rd floor door was locked, old, covered in dust. And that's when I realized the noises were coming from a locked, abandoned apartment. Behind the door, total silence. I didn't sleep until sunrise. The morning, exhausted and shaking, I confronted the landlord again. "Mr. Bellin, someone was up there last night." He avoided my eyes. "You're stressed. Moving is tiring." "No, I heard running, tapping. Something fell. The door is locked. What's in there?" He hesitated, then said quietly, "Nothing. There's nothing in that unit. I don't even have the key." A lie. Clear as day. But why? That night, around 11 p.m., heavy rain slammed against the windows. Wind howled through the gaps in the frame. I was doing dishes when it happened. The sound of a chair being dragged directly above me. Slow, deliberate, moving across the room. Then came the footsteps. They stopped right above where I was standing, and then breathing. Not loud, not fully human. A dry, rattling inhale like someone who'd been coughing for years. Cold, exhausted. I froze, hands trembling. Suddenly, a violent bang hit the ceiling, right above me. I dropped the dish. It shattered at my feet. That was it. I wasn't staying another second. I grabbed my keys and phone and rushed into the hallway. I was halfway down the stairs when I heard it. The slow, brittle creak of the third-floor door opening behind me. The hinges screamed painfully, like a door untouched for years. Then footsteps. Dragging, unsteady. Something was coming out of the empty apartment, approaching the top of the stairs. One more step and I would have seen its shadow. But I didn't look. I refused to. I ran down the stairs, out the front door, into the rain. I sat there outside the building, soaked, breathing hard, unable to go back inside. The next morning, I packed everything I owned. No hesitation, no explanations. The landlord asked why I was leaving. I just said, "You know what's up there, and I don't want to know." He stayed silent, his eyes terrified. But even now, months later, in my new apartment, on quiet nights, I sometimes hear it again. A chair, moving slowly across the floor. Maybe it's nothing. Maybe it's all in my head. Or maybe something from that night followed me.